Good evening and welcome back to Mo's channel. Today, August 17th, 2019. Now, in my last video, I spoke about white racism and white supremacy. YouTube suspended me for a week because the second part of the video spoke about or was directed to the white racist organizations, the skinheads, KKK, neo-Nazis, and all these motherfuckers who like to kill black people, who like to kill Jewish people, who like to kill Mexican people. This motherfucker drove 600 miles from Dallas to come to El Paso to kill Mexicans. Now, there's a lot of Mexicans in Dallas. I know that because I once worked for a Mexican. He reported to me, and he was actually a Mexican national. He was an engineer. And this is a guy that told me that most Mexicans in Mexico City who are educated, doing well, have no need to cross the border. But I know for a fact there's a lot of Mexicans in Dallas. My parents used to live in Dallas. I moved them to Dallas. So I know there's a lot of Mexicans. So if this guy wanted to kill Mexicans, why the fuck didn't he go to Dallas and kill the Mexicans? He came to El Paso because Trump put El Paso on the map. And because Trump put El Paso on the map, that's where this white man had to go and kill Mexicans in El Paso. So in the second video, all I was saying was that all these racist white people, if they honestly believed that they could just go around killing Mexicans, killing Jews, killing Asians, although no Asians have been killed yet, they're probably next in line, killing black people, if they honestly believe they could just do that and not face any retribution, they are highly mistaken. And my message was directed at these racist individuals when I said there are black people out there that will come back at you and fuck you up. My message was not directed at the white man who may hate black people or Mexicans, but doesn't go around killing them, doesn't go around discriminating against them. My message was directed at these hateful little shit motherfuckers. And YouTube saw that as hate speech. So, one question is to YouTube, are you promoting white racism? Are you promoting white supremacy? When a video came out that depicted Nancy Pelosi like a piece of shit, the third most powerful person in this country, the third person in line to ascend to the presidency, they didn't do shit. But when I come out against these racist motherfuckers and tell them you will pay a price if you think you could just pick niggas and Mexicans and Jewish people and Asians off the face of the earth, you will pay a price. YouTube saw that as hate speech. So YouTube, please answer the question, which side are you on? Are you on the side of the white racist supremacists? Or are you on the side of Americans who want to see a better country? Let's move on. I believe in solutions. I don't believe in problems. Anyone can identify a problem. Global warming is a problem. Obesity amongst the population is a problem. Delusion amongst the population is a problem. I'm about solutions. I identified the problem, white supremacy, white racism. All right? Now, the causes, there's an underlying root cause. All right? And I've covered that, so I won't go through that again. What I want to talk about is how can black people and white people and Asian people and Mexican people live together in this melting pot and let the nation succeed. Everyone has their strengths. Black people have their strengths. Mexican people have their strengths. Asian people have their strengths. White people have their strengths. The power of diversity is not in me looking at you and pointing at your weaknesses and trying to bring you down for that. The power of diversity is in the strengths of these different cultures, ethnicities, races, coming to the surface to make a greater contribution. That's when you achieve synergy. But you cannot attain that as long as there's insecurity. So that's a big problem that we're facing right now, insecurity. And let me start off by saying this. From the perspective of a black person, 70% of our problems are caused by us, by our behavior, by our perspective, by our attitude, by our mentality. I'm quite certain if you go to Mexicans, 70% of their problems are caused by them. If you go to Asians, 70% of their problems are caused by them. So what I'm trying to say is that racism, white racism, accounts for only 30% of the problems faced by these different cultures. Now, the root of that white racism, as I've identified in the past, has to do with white insecurities. Insecurities, for the most part, are based on ignorance. I see a black man, I'm a white man. I see a black man walking down the street. The image, the knowledge I have of black people is what I see on TV, is what I see on movies. They're killers, they're murderers, they're gangbangers. So, based on my ignorance, which fuels my insecurity that this black man walking down the street towards me might kill me or harm me, I run. That black man walking down the street might be a fucking doctor who just finished performing an open heart surgery on a white man. So that black man has no intent to kill a white man because he just saved a white man. But it is that insecurity that fuels the racism that you find amongst white people. Now, what is the basis of that insecurity? It's a false history that white people have been given. It's the false images that white people have been fed. A lot of that. I mean, okay, I'm a white man, and all along I've been told that we discovered America, that we invented everything under the sun, that we're the most intelligent, that we're the best looking, blah, 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 blah. So, if I have that mentality, and I see a black man, and I see a white woman, and I see that white woman show some interest in that black man, it's gonna cause panic in me. Why? Because if I'm the best looking man, if the white man is the best looking man, then how in fucking hell is this white woman looking at a black man? It goes counter to what I've been taught. I'll give you a perfect example. I'm 5'9". In high school, I was a star quarterback. We made it to city championships. We almost made it to state. I was also a star basketball player and a star soccer player. I got scholarships to NCAA Division 1A schools in basketball, football, and soccer. I would have played quarterback in college, but I didn't want to play with their system. So I said, fuck it. I'll play running back. They wanted me to be receiver because I'm quick as shit. I said, nah, I'll play running back. I played basketball. I started. All right. Now I'm 5'9". Most people have been cultured to believe that to be a good basketball player, you have to be 6'10". To be a good quarterback, you have to be 6'5". Look at Johnny Football. He was 6 feet tall, and they said he wouldn't succeed. Look at Russell Wilson. He's about 5'10", and they said he wouldn't succeed. Look at Michael Vick. It's these images that we're given. Now, if I would have accepted what they said, I would have said, man, I can't play basketball. I can't play football. I'm not tall enough. But I was better than everyone, despite the fact that I'm not 6'4". The same thing. White people are indoctrinated. And white man, if you want to escape, simply turn off the television. All right? Turn off the television. Research for yourself. Go out there. Meet a black person. Go to a black church. If you have black co-workers that you work with and you're cool with, invite them over for Thanksgiving. Invite them over for Christmas. Because what's going to happen is at your Thanksgiving, you're going to have your white family and you're going to have these black people. And over the course of time, people are going to have conversations, blah, 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 blah. Through those conversations, you, Mr. White Man, will start to understand and learn about black people. But do it from a point of ignorance, from a point of humility. I want to learn about your culture. I want to learn about your race. I want to learn about your people. Teach me. Teach me. Do that with Asians. Have Asians over for dinner. Have Mexicans over for dinner. What's going to happen, Mr. White Man, is that as you introduce yourself and you learn about other cultures, you're going to find yourself no longer being insecure. Because you're not going to realize, well, that Mexican, he's not out here trying to take over my country. That Asian, he's not out here invading my country. That black person, he's not out here trying to rob me. And what's going to happen? Your eyes, your mind is going to open. And you're going to start looking around and saying, whoa, hold up. Hold up. This black person has the same desires, the same dreams, the same wants as I do. So does that Asian person and that Mexican person. All of a sudden, when you look at these Central Americans trying to cross the border, seeking asylum, you're going to say, well, hold on. What if that was me? How would I like to be handled? So that's the first step. Educate yourself. Advance yourself. And beyond that, one of the things that fuels your sense of superiority as a white people is the false history you have been given. Your history denies any contribution of significance by Asians, by Indians from the subcontinent, by Indians, Native Americans, by black people. And that is a travesty because all of these individuals have made tremendous contributions. The Chinese were civilized thousands of years before Rome. The Africans were civilized tens of thousands of years before Rome. The Native Americans, I could say the same. The Indians from the subcontinent, I could say the same. But when you live in your little bubble, where everything revolves around white, 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 you fool yourself. You deny yourself opportunities to learn and expand and grow your mind. So take the time out. Go out there and research Black history. There's a book out there. I'll recommend some books. Stolen Legacy. They came before Columbus. The Miseducation of the Black Man. All right. There are many books out there. Check Anta Diop, Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben Buchanan. These are great Black scholars. Read their works. They have done tremendous research. Read their works and learn about true history. I don't know if Asian scholars, but I'm sure there are Asian scholars out there that could convey Asian history. I'm not sure if there's been much written by Native Americans or by Indians from the subcontinent. But expand your mind. Expose yourself to different cultures. Expose yourself to different experiences. When you start to do that, you will start to appreciate people that are not like you. You will now look at that Asian man and say, wow, they did bam, 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 bam. You look at that Black man and say, wow, that's not some jungle bunny. You look at that Native American and say, wow. By doing that, and by being secure in yourself, you start to appreciate other races. And through that appreciation, you start to respect them. And from that respect, your attitude, your mentality starts to change completely. So, learn about other cultures by interacting with people from those cultures. If you have the idea, the mentality that all Muslims are evil pieces of shit that want to blow everything up, and they ride around in the desert in the Middle East with rags on their head on the back of camels yelling, Allahu Akbar, Jihad, kill every white man. Go find your goddamn Muslim and tell them, tell me about your religion. And ask them any questions you've heard. Anything that you've seen on Fox News or heard here or heard there, go to that Muslim and say, well, you say your religion is a religion of peace, but I've heard this, and that. How do you explain that? And let that Muslim explain it to you. Because you will walk away and in your mind, you'll say, well, fuck, I was wrong about these Muslims. If you hate Jews, for those of you who like to go to synagogues and kill Jews, if you hate Jews, do this. Go find you a Jew. And preferably a devout Jew who practices Judaism. So a Hebrew who goes to the synagogue for Sabbath every Saturday. And sit that Jew down and tell him, look, man, I heard you motherfuckers eat babies and you motherfuckers do this and do that. Is that true? Educate yourself. Expand your mind. The second thing is white privilege. And the first thing you as a people, and I'm talking about white people, have to do is acknowledge the existence of white privilege and acknowledge the impact it has had on you as a people. Now, I am not saying that all success that white people experience is because of white privilege, because there's some hard working white people out there. That white motherfucker that says, fuck it, I'm gonna be a doctor, and puts himself through all that shit to attain that MD, and goes through that fucking residency, 5 years to be a neurosurgeon or heart surgeon, and now they're making $500,000 a year. They've earned that. That has nothing to do with white privilege. But white privilege impacts others in society as well as white people. So accept the fact that you have a privileged position in a white society, even in a black society. If you go to Africa, the light-skinned African is preferred over the dark-skinned African. Amongst black people here in America, go ask any black man. They would rather have a light-skinned black woman than a dark-skinned black woman. So we black men look down on our own dark-skinned sisters and prefer light-skinned black women. In society right now with mulattoes, mulattoes feel they're special. Mulattoes feel they're elevated, that they're better than other black people. All right? The school that I went to, Howard, at a point in time, if you're darker than a lunch bag, a brown paper bag, you would not be admitted. So that white privilege is across the globe. If you go to Puerto Rico, the lighter skinned, white looking Puerto Ricans are preferred to the darker skinned Puerto Ricans. Think, Geraldo Rivera is more preferred than Cardi B. And Cardi B is light skinned, but Geraldo has very little non-white blood in him. So accept the fact that the world is changing, and that with the changing world, your white privilege might not have as much power as it did in the past. But what that means for you as a white person is that you now have to apply yourself. Don't look at it as a bad thing. It just means you have to push yourself harder to succeed, because now you're competing with that China man, that Mexican man, that black man, that Indian man. So you now really have to be the best. And there's nothing wrong with that. It will just make you a better person. The last thing that I want to talk about on this racism angle, the reality is that the white race is not reproducing sufficiently to replace those amongst them who are dying. That's a reality. And this problem only faces the white race. So, in reality, in about another 10, 20, 30, let's say 50 years, the US will be minority white. Europe will be minority white. And that is a big fear amongst white people. And that big fear is because of your history in relation to these other races. And that strikes a fear in you. We've stepped on these people. Now, if they overwhelm us in numbers, what's going to happen? Well, you've always been the minority on this planet. There's always been more Asians, more black people, more Mexican people than white people. So it's nothing new. Don't be afraid. Asians are not busy, we're going to kill us some crackers. Mexicans ain't like that. Black people ain't like that. So even if you're a minority on this planet, the other races are not going to treat you like shit. I know you like to maintain this aura of being superior and powerful, but it's time to let that go. It's time to let that go. This is a new world. This is a new day. And you have to now accept that. And you now have to look at that Asian and see him as your equal. Look at that Mexican and see him as your equal. Look at that black person and see them as your equal. And relate to them in that capacity. Interact with them in that capacity. When you do that, your fear, your insecurity of your dwindling population will no longer be a factor. Because you'll sit there and say, well, so we're not the majority in this country anymore, but you know what? We get along with Asians, we get along with black people, we get along with Mexicans. It's all good. It's all good. I'm not a pacifist. If it came to it, I'd get a gun and go to war with white people. I have no problem with that. But I've been to war. As a U.S. Marine, I've been to war. I've killed people and I've seen people die right next to me. War is not pretty. You don't want a racial war. You'll likely lose it. And by losing that racial war, your situation in this country will be significantly worse than you could possibly imagine. Let's not go down that path. There's an alternate path. Learn about those you despise. Learn about their cultures, learn about their thinking, how they live, how they go about lives. And you will be surprised to find there's so much similarity between you and these inferior races. Learn about the true history of this world. Expand your horizons. Let your insecurities go out the window. And humble yourselves. White supremacism, white racism, I'm just telling you right now, white people, that's going to be your end. That's going to be your demise. Leave it alone. Come into the fold of nations. Come into humanity and start being part of the human family, and everything will be cool. YouTube, I just want to say fuck you. All right? I just want to say fuck you. And if that's hate speech, fuck you again.